nothing you cannot do. You have power over everything. None compares to who you were. All blessing and glory, wisdom and power, honor and strength belong to you.
There is nothing you cannot do.
You have power.
You have power over everything.
None compares to who you were. All blessings and glory, wisdom and power. Say it again.
There is nothing you cannot do.
You have power.
You have power over everything.
None compares to who you were.
You are the blessing, glory, wisdom, and power, honor, and strength belong to you.
You have done so great things. We're standing in awe of your matchless power. We're living big by faith in you. All blessings and glory, wisdom and power, honor and strength belong to you.
You have done so great.
We're standing in awe.
In awe of your matchless
We live by faith.
living victory by faith in
All
you.
blessing and glory, wisdom and power, honor and strength. Oh Lord, we give you praise for all that you have done. You have given us victory, and so we raise a voice. Oh Lord, we give you praise for all that you have done. You have given us victory, and so we raise a voice. We say, we give you praise, we give you praise, we give you praise, we give you praise for everything you've done, for who you were. We just came to give you praise. We give you praise, we give you praise. That's what we came to do. Give you praise for who you have been to us. Raise a hand, raise a hand, raise a hand. Raise your hand, somebody raise your hand and let the Lord know He's been so good to you. Raise a hand, raise a hand, raise those hands unashamedly. Bring a song, we bring this song, we brought this song to give you praise. This song, let everything that has breath praise the Lord. So we came with a song. We bring a song. We brought a song. We bring a song. We bring a song. Raise your hand. Somebody raise your hand and let the Lord know He's been so good to you. Raise those hands unashamedly. Bring a song for everything you've done, for who you were. We just came to give you praise. We brought this song. Let everything that has breath praise the Lord. So we came with a song to give you praise. There is nothing you cannot do. You have power over everything. None compares to who you were. All blessing and glory, wisdom and power, honor and strength belong to you.
There is nothing you cannot do.
You have power.
You have power over everything.
None compares to who you were. All blessings and glory, wisdom and power. Say it again.
There is nothing you cannot do.
You have power.
You have power over everything.
None compares to who you were.
You are the blessing, the
so great things. We stand in awe of your matchless power. We're living big by faith in you. All blessings and glory, wisdom and power, honor and strength belong to you.
You have done so great.
We're standing on,
In all of your matchless
we'll live by faith.
living victory by faith.
All blessing and glory, wisdom and power, honor and strength. Each and every one of you tuned in to the Saturday Starter. Well, I almost forget to tell you I'm your host, J Atemo, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon. As usual, we get to talk about matters that are pertinent to you, matters that affect your life, helping you to chart the course of your life to become a better person, have the fortification around this season as well. So we're looking forward to having great conversations with you as well. If you will have any questions, then you can just post them right here on the social media platforms that we have. But all my guests are right here and they are seated. We're excited about that. But before I get to introduce them, I need to see who is online. So I'm looking forward to knowing that you are here. I just want to know that you are here before we get on to a conversation. Elegant footwear, that must be either a business name or something. Martin Olwach, Dinda, Daniel, each and every one of you who's joining, just let me know that you are online. Petronila Ketenyi, Rahab Otieno, Lilian Imari, Geoffrey Emungat, Celestine Mulanga Murunga, each and every one of you that is joining, Adera James, let us know that you're tuned in. The prophetess Brenda Musioka, good to see you all the way from Joburg. And the second thing I need from you is to host a watch party if you can, because we're going to have a great time here today. So host a watch party if you can. Tag a friend, tag your family, tag everyone that you know. Let them just come in online and join us. Well, I am joined by a distinguished panel. When I talk about a distinguished panel, I mean a distinguished panel. We were having this talk before we came on here, and I say to Justus that both of us need to have serious credentials. We need to have legitimate titles. And so I am joined today, I'll start from the farthest right, by Dr. Samuel Omondi Ojino. It's good to have you here.
Good to see you, Coach. It's been a while, but I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. What makes, when people say somebody's a doctor, the assumption is that all doctors are the same. What's your specialty? What's your specialty as a doctor?
I have my own categorization of doctors. So I have those doctors who are academic doctors and those that are professional. So academic, there are three in my own view. It's anyone who has done a Bachelor of Medicine and Surgery, or Bachelor of Pharmacy, or Bachelor of Dental Surgery. Then the others are, those doctors that you get after doing ministry for a while, and then a university thinks that you deserve, or you study some soil science and you become a doctor. So I'm a pharmacist by training, but I'm also a tropical and infectious disease expert by training.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. All right. Then I've got the only lady in the panel today.
Oh, yeah.
I really had to get this lady to come. And after today, you need to follow on the social media platforms as well. Dr. Lyndzie, it's good to have you here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chris, for having me.
Right.
Yeah, so I think you were asking what type of doctors there are there. So I will just reiterate what Dr. is saying here. There are actually not three, there are two.
Okay.
You're either on the medical side, or you are on the academic side.
Okay.
So all the others are for Kuchibandika. Anyway, so I have a Bachelor of Medicine and a Bachelor of Surgery 2-in-1 degree, and I'm now pursuing my Masters of Medicine in Obstetrics and Gynecology. So I am currently an obstetrician and gynecologist resident. I am the current co-convener of the Kenya Medical Association Young Doctors Network. I am also the co-convener of the National Kenya Medical Association Social Welfare and Responsibility Committee. Thank you so much for having me.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Because if anybody sees you on social media,
I know.
like somebody who would.
I'm 22 forever. Forever 22. In fact, I am 16, going on 24. I'm not going beyond 24.
Because
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
when we were in school, if you were doing anything that was in the sciences, you'd not be thought to be somebody who needs to socialize. You're supposed to be around books all the time.
That's very
So
true.
there's this perception of who a doctor should be,
Yeah.
you know, but you're so full of life and energy, nobody would know.
We thank God. We thank God. We thank God, Pasi.
And then we've got this gentleman. I don't
Yeah.
think that he needs too much introduction. Justus Owaka.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, man?
Good.
Good to have you here.
Thank you for the invitation as well.
And the two of you have long beard, but I'll start off on something that you're prepared for this. But let me just see who's here as well, so that I know what I can say. All right, Wanjiku Caroline, Joe Yeshua, Edwin Omole, Joe Minor, Julia Shoya, Bishop Obed Wanjala, Rosaline Oluoch, Owiti Achar, Faith Vata. Okay, good to see every one of you who's joining us. Medriana Sandra, Beatrice Kahara, Vicky Carroll joining. I'm going to start with something now. Forgive me, this is going to be below the belt, but just allow me. The two of you,
Yeah.
do you have a boys' club?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, please do.
Boys club, but not in the sense of what's been going
Boys'
on.
club, yeah.
Yeah, accountability has been key
Alright.
from my university days.
Okay.
And I just have those boys where we meet and talk about our lives as young men, young husbands, young people who are trying to come up with something meaningful for their lives. But I'm so sure we don't like share screenshots of other things.
So nobody should be scared about the idea of boys' club.
I don't think so.
All right.
Yeah, and maybe just chipping in as well. Same. I mean, a boys' club, legitimate for accountability purposes and also for just, economic growth and, just looking out for each other, having each other's back as it is. And so I don't think it is just the way, the abuse of the term boys' club.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. But it can be something that is good.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
You're nodding. You believe the gentleman?
I am not in any boys' club.
They are
I would be shocked if you were in.
But of course, what the gentlemen are saying is true. I mean, for any person, whether you're male or female, you need to have accountability partners,
Right.
You can't, you are not a tree, you're not an island. So you gotta do life with people.
Yeah.
So either you have a mentor, you have a coach, or you have your peers, who now you're calling your club, boy club or girls club. Yeah, but you need accountability partners, but not for this other shenanigans. Yeah.
I also think that, he's talking about whether you have a mentor or you have just accountability partners. I think the idea behind having a boys' club is just horizontal accountability. Your peers, your buddies, your friends who, they can't put a negative brand on you, they can't judge you. But also we need like vertical accountability, which now goes to the mentors, maybe in career and just life, and for those in ministry, probably a father.
Yeah.
So I think it's both vertical and horizontal, and I think I have both.
I know you have one guy that every time I'll see him around the corner. And he's actually around over here, Stan Klaus. He's always around you somehow. Yeah, you've come a long way, you say.
Yes, we have come a long way. I remember he came to the in 2008, as a first year taking Bachelor of Pure Economics. And I had just been born again like 6 months when he came. So, you know, he was this guy who would come to the campus fellowship and he was so much on fire, you know. And for the first time, I thought I met someone that, you know, had the flames that I could touch without burning me.
Wow.
So we became friends, and it turned into a prayer group, a ministry group.
Wow.
And from 2008 up to date, actually, we've been brothers. He's my best man.
Wow.
He's my confidant. If I disappear today, he should be the first person to be arrested.
Yeah, because you know, sometimes when matters like what came up this week, when such matters come up, you find people beginning to get a bit paranoid. What does my husband do?
Yeah.
What does he do with the guys around him? Or what does my fiance or boyfriend do? Is this what men... and so I just brought you guys in to try and allay the fears that it's just a safe place for the men to be. But there's something interesting I saw this week as well, which made me get all of you to come and just share with us here today. I'm just going to read something. I try to tag especially Dr. Samuel and Dr. Lindsay on it. I'm not sure that you saw it. Somebody was talking about hospitals in Kisumu. Said they went into various private hospitals. And for example, let me just quote it, one popular hospital that has a bed capacity of 120 and always has about 100 plus at any given time, has been having patients fluctuating between 10 and 20 since March. Outpatients who were about 400 to 500 daily, now getting 50 is a miracle. And so he says, I sat down with a general practitioner and asked him to explain to me what is really happening to the sick. And he said most illnesses are driven by the entertainment industry. So, and he said that bars and restaurants are closed, and that is where illnesses emanate from. Cholera, typhoid, amoeba, food poisoning, and a myriad others, mostly from unhygienic hotels. And he says accidents, robberies, syphilis, gonorrhea, all these start after the bars. So he said lack of money, alcohol, and curfew has made the consumption of it plummet, and therefore accidents have gone down. And all those other the border accidents of the wards are empty because the lifestyle sickness illnesses like diabetes and hypertension can be managed at home. Is there a correlation?
Oh yeah.
Are people healthier now? And I brought in Justus because this man is always doing business from a restaurant. And then he's been a radio personality for so he's in entertainment, he's an MC as well, he's getting to become a pilot. But I just wanted us to look at this. Are we healthy in the curfew? And if so, okay, go ahead.
That's an interesting observation. I saw earlier this week also, the National Transport and Safety Authority just reporting that, the number of RTAs, the road traffic accidents, have gone down simply because of restriction of movement. A lot of accidents are caused by probably drunk drivers or drunk pedestrians and so on. So I think with the curfew controlling the club and bar hours, and also the lockdown of Nairobi has contributed to that. So as to whether there's a correlation between the whole lockdown and curfew thing and number of people that visit the hospitals, I would say yes, because I think the person that put up that post is talking about the outpatient area of which is basically which basically handles a lot of accident and emergencies, and what we call casualty. So I think with the restriction of movement, we have less injuries, we have less bar fights. we have less, cat fights between, the ladies on who went on a date with my, And also we've been on masks for a while. I think Daktari will agree with me that if we are to look for data, we'll actually see that respiratory conditions have gone down, just because we are blocking ourselves from inhaling stuff in the atmosphere. Yeah, so I think actually the curfew and the lockdown can contribute towards patient flow. But also the other thing is one of the things that doctors see a lot in the outpatient setting is respiratory conditions, flus and so on. And people could be afraid that when they show up in a hospital because they have a flu or they have a chest pain, they might end up being quarantined at their own cost actually. So probably they'll do the Magufuli thing, ginger and lemon, and do gym at your own risk though.
Dr. Lindsay.
Yeah, sure. I'd want to contribute to that. First of all, what we are doing, or rather the strategies that we are using to combat coronavirus, are not new to anybody.
Okay.
I mean, who doesn't know that we're supposed to wash hands with soap and water, So running water, washing your hands with soap and water, supplementing with an alcohol-based rub or sanitizer, practicing proper respiratory hygiene, avoiding close contact. That is actually, I have statistics. I am at Kenyatta National Hospital. I took myself to the pediatric ward. The ward is a quarter full. A ward that they put three or four babies on one bed. We are now at 25% capacity, and the majority of the infections that we are admitting at the hospitals are diarrheal diseases, dehydration, vomiting. These are GI, GI infections that are, infections that are through fecal-oral contamination. So meaning you're either eating without washing your hands, or you are touching something and then you put something in your mouth, yeah? But because we are doing the hand sanitization, we are doing the washing of hands, we are not going to other people's places to eat. You're eating in your own house, yeah? You are not, actually I don't have a problem with the restaurants.
All right.
The thing is now they have improved. Like now, okay, let me not say the name of the restaurant that came to my mind, but one of the restaurants, of the many restaurants, let me say, were not actually hygienic. Like you'd go somewhere and the what do you call it, the ketchup that they put on the table, you can actually see a ring of black dirt.
Yeah.
And you're like, my goodness. And I'm also going to take that, yeah?
That's
so,
everywhere, Justus.
Yeah?
The debate is out there.
And then finally, of course, I have to talk about this sexually transmitted infections. That's my pet subject. I always say in other forums, now here we're in a Christian setup, so I will talk about relations. But when I'm in a different setup, I say other things, yeah? But basically, obstetrics and gynecology is about the consequences, products, how to do the relations. It's everything to do with sexual relations. So in terms of that, the slay queens and side chicks and what other names do they have out there? Yeah, all these people who are coming to break godly marriages, they are in their house. So there's no more transmission. Kila mtu akae na mtu wake. So you stay with your husband in your own house. Your boyfriend is uko quarantined. No, not quarantined. They've been contained in another county. So you're in your mother's house. You see how now we have contained this.
So
STI.
transmission has
Down.
Has gone down.
Has gone down. Yeah, marriages that are now marriages are thriving fast. Let me tell you the truth. People are discovering, hiya, my wife is actually pretty. She actually looks nice,
But there's also the element. Sorry to cut you short.
Yeah,
You're
sure.
coming back to your point. But we've sat here again and discussed the element of, and I don't know how much truth there is to that, that the domestic violence
has gone on
has
the
gone
rise.
up as well.
Yeah, that's now
Yeah.
unfortunately.
So there are those marriages that are flourishing.
Yes. And
But
that
then there are those ones where somebody's wondering, who the heck is
yeah,
this?
yeah.
We have those marriages that there are those marriages where the couple, just because of their daily routines and schedule, they barely find time to be together. And so when COVID came, it just provided them with time to be together and they are flourishing. But there are those marriages where the daily routines are actually an escape from
reality.
spouse. So when you put them together for many hours, an argument that would typically end by one person walking out to work.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to
There's nowhere
walk
to walk to.
Yeah.
So probably a slap or an insult will do. And we are seeing. I even saw the DCI picking up the matter and warning people against, domestic violence during these times of, forced proximity.
I like that, forced proximity. It's because, you see, and Reverend, both now speaking as pastors, both you and I don't know, because there are some of our congregants who, let me say for my case, who sometimes you get a call from a husband, and these are people who you have ministered to, and they have heard you minister to them, given Sunday in, Sunday out, and then they say that, I don't know who this woman is. I don't know who this man is. It's like, you see, now, coming from that point, you don't even want to go into scripture, because there's some certain points and instances where, somebody needs much more than scripture.
Right.
All right? Because this is a real life situation. That, Pastor, if you do not come to my house now and talk to this woman or talk to this man, then you will see us in the news. You see, as a statistic, that is basically what they're saying. And the thing is, unfortunately, for me, I say it is fortunate, because COVID-19 has come in and is now forcing couples who were not maybe having time for each other, or did not know their responsibility as a man or a woman, husband and wife, and parents as well. That we are now CBC parents. Me and you and CBC parents and Doc. We are now teachers. We are doing Zoom calls, and after that you have to,
But how effective is that? How effective is that
another question.
against the personalities again? Because there are people who can't just stay in. It's not even that they have a problem with their spouse.
Absolutely.
But they don't know how to be locked in for the whole day.
I think, Reverend, one of the things that have disadvantaged the marriages in our generation is people get into something that they are not prepared for. You are talking about temperamental mismatch or personality mismatches.
Thank you for putting an intellect to it. I now have something to use.
So there are people who do not understand why their spouses behave the way they do. There are people who don't know that there is something big called a choleric personality. A person who is a go-getter, a person who can get manipulative, a person who can be all out there and all over and domineering, and they think that's a character issue, and yet it's a personality issue. There are those who may think that my spouse doesn't like talking to me, they like ignoring me. So when people are forced to be together for a while, thanks to COVID-19, they begin to get unnerved by how their spouse is having a certain thing that they don't like, or something is now coming out. So one of the things that we need to do going forward is we need to encourage young people that want to get married, that it's good for you to take a premarital class. It's not imposing how I run my marriage on how you run yours, but there are certain basic principles. You need to know about temperament mapping. The person you are, and if you get a good class, you will actually do it practically, so that you get to understand the personality of the person who will be your spouse, and understand, suppose there is a disagreement, how is that person likely to respond to that disagreement, other than it escalating to insults, to assault and physical abuse.
Dr. Lyndzie does some crazy stuff online. She has been what is this that she has been doing? She's been doing this stuff of, I'm trying to find a guy on Facebook, right? And then she'll be like, you need to deal with my manager, because if you're from my ethnicity, no, you are off, so I'm looking for these kind of guys. But for somebody who has a personality like you, you know, like what I said when we started, the first thing somebody would think of a doctor is this person who's very quiet, very introverted, just, you know, you love books and quietness and that. Then you are so vibrant. Do you get that with people like you've gone out on a date like this and they're thinking you're too bubbly for a doctor?
Definitely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there's even one post I wrote about people trying to put me in their boxes, you know, because I think there's one, I call them my sister, because I feel like we are family, only that we don't share the same mother or father, but you know, she actually called me a mixed bouquet.
Huh?
Yeah.
Mixed bouquet.
So I could be a tiger lily, then another day I'm a rose flower with thorns, of course. And then another day I am, you know, I am another kind of a flower, you know. So, and that's all. And I think we need to give people space to be who they are, you know. Grant people permission to be who they are. So you can't put people in a box. And I think that's also, you know, he talked about, I want to piggyback on what you said about temperaments. It's very, very important to actually do a self-actualization and self-awareness.
Okay.
You as yourself, you need to actually, there's all these things online. There's a 16 personality test.
Yes.
There's the 4 personality, the one that has the choleric, the sanguine, the phlegmatic, and the melancholic. And you can also do the 16 personality that actually now shows you, you know, and detail, and it gives you even one name, like you can be the mind, you can be the explorer, you can be the entertainer, you can be the commander, etc, etc. So I think self-actualization and self-awareness is very important, because that way you will actually know what you're looking for. You cannot be everybody's spouse. You can't. There's only one suitable helper. Suitable, underline, bold, italize. Put in bold, underline, and put that in italics. There cannot be only one suitable helper. And first of all, you need to be a suitable person before you can either receive help if you're the man, or before you can be the helper if you are the lady. So I think that's what I can say about, you know, just to piggyback on what he was saying about marriage is not working and temperaments.
All right, but I know about children as well. Do you deal with children?
I used to, and then I love when they are inside now. I'll walk with you in the journey of trying to conceive. I will make sure you conceive. We will walk with you in the whole 9 months. Once I deliver that baby, until next time.
Then you're done. But okay, getting back into what we were talking about, just as you were doing business literally.
Restaurants,
How has that changed for you right now? Is it making your family better? Are you financially healthier now that you don't have the restaurants and you're working from home?
The beauty of part of the businesses that I am involved in is that they are online based, obviously, for one. So it means that I can do them remotely from anywhere.
Right.
So basically, me reaching out to a prospect or a customer or a business partner has not really changed so much.
Okay.
It's just the dynamics of now I have to do it in the house or to save face, because sometimes it's a Zoom call, a business Zoom call, so I have to do it in the car.
Okay.
So I go tell family, Gladys and the kids, now listen, or I just, when I'm from work, because I also do my 9 to 5, so when I'm from the studio, before I walk up the house, stay there, we do the Zoom call for 45 minutes, 1 hour, and it's still good.
Let's talk about this Zoom thing.
I think let's not.
Let's talk about we're home. Like yesterday, I had a session online from 5 to about 7:30, and then after that I had a Zoom session as well between 8 and slightly after 9, about 9:30 as well. So yes, I'm home.
Wow.
But those are nearly 4 hours that have gone to Zoom. And the people who are doing more than that, so they'll say I'm working from home. Hubby is home, but hubby is on Zoom. What effect would that have on us just generally the health of the home and then the person as well?
I've been having problems with my son. As I told you, I'm taking up training in tropical and infectious diseases at the University of Nairobi Institute of Tropical and Infectious Diseases. And when the universities were closed, after like 2 weeks, the Vice Chancellor said that now we are ready to have your classes online. And so I have to sit with my laptop, and the lecturer has to do a Google meeting or a Google Classroom. And my son has never seen such a thing, the laptop and the headphones and all. And so in the first few days, we had a lot of fights because, I have to keep my microphone off, I have to keep my camera off. So when I was sharing this with my mom, my mom just said, you have just invaded someone else's space.
Wow.
You are not supposed to have class in your house.
In your house, yes.
The boy is supposed to be playing in the house. So I moved out. So every morning I take my breakfast, and then prior to the restaurants being partially open, I used to go to some place I won't disclose. But when the restaurant opened, I had to look for the restaurants that allow you to sit in and you can just go through the class and so on. But I think working from home is an idea that many of us have never embraced or thought of. And I think after this whole pandemic, a lot of things are going to change, Coach. Classes can be administered through Google Meeting, Google Classroom. Many startups will not need to have commercial space actually for office. So we are, things are going to change. Families also are going to change because people will be having family gatherings on Zoom actually.
But, is there anything like
I'm all zoomed out. Me, if you're watching me right now, please.
You see, one of the problems of Zooming is, do I look like this really? So you get to see yourself and,
and man, even just staying there and concentrating.
Absolutely. You have to concentrate.
I conduct trainings sometimes, talk and stuff, and you don't know whether the people are getting you. Sometimes you can see somebody distracted over there.
Obviously.
Moved out. Sometimes, because people have different home settings. Some people don't have the benefit that others would have, like you can go to an extra room.
Have it
That's
as an
all
office.
that they have. And the children, like you say, sometimes are crying for attention.
True.
And it's interfering with what you are doing. But now you cannot tell them, shut your kid over the other side.
And unfortunately, sometimes it could be, it could be like, say, for example, your upline managers, if it's 9 to 5, who need this meeting, and they say it's a staff meeting. Like I say that with my wife, who's a teacher, and they have this staff meeting, and the principal is there, the CEO is there, and all these managers are there, plus the teachers. And when they need your input, you have to be there and with it, But one thing I must say also is, and maybe perhaps there are CEOs and this upline managers who are listening, or the ones who conduct, because I also conduct a few, that we need to discipline ourselves as well. Because a Zoom meeting does not mean that we have thrown any management or meeting etiquette out of the window. So that if we say that this Zoom meeting is going to be for 45 to an hour, then let us be disciplined with that.
45 to an hour.
Yeah, because clearly you can see I'm having spectacles on. Mine is more, it's a visual, not more or less light sensitivity. Right. Yeah. So I have to control. I have to be very careful as well. Because there's one time I remember I went for, just like you said, I was from a 45-minute Zoom, had a 10-minute break into a 1.5 hour Zoom call, just had barely a 5-minute break, went into a 3-hour Zoom call. I was
What were you doing in the 3 hours?
Yeah, the 3 hours, it was an international Zoom call. These guys, so it involved a lot of people from many countries. So the folly with that is I had no voice per se. So I couldn't come in and tell guys, hey man, I've had enough. Let's do this, we can continue tomorrow.
You want to be whipped out like really?
You know. There's
Because
also that.
you missed out on the bosses meeting.
Yeah, or it could be both you and I. You see,
Right,
we have our pastors, our pastoral team and support staff, and we have them for this Zoom meeting. So because they have that respect for us as senior pastors, so they say there's no way I can tell pastor that, hey, Pasi, I
Is that
am
what guys say with a choma?
Hey,
Right now, because now
choma.
he's messing up for me for my meetings. I invited you to be a guest, not at my meetings.
But also, I think I want to also say something about the Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
Just to talk about the etiquette.
Yeah.
I think we need to respect that after 7 p.m. is family time. Why are we having so many Zoom meetings after 8 p.m. or even 9 p.m.? Do we really have to have the Zoom meetings after dark? You know?
time zones, doc,
Yeah.
like the one I had.
Okay, except that one as
Yeah.
the time zone. I'm talking about
Yeah.
the Kenyan
Right.
EAT,
right,
East
right.
African time.
Right.
You know, why? Because I kind of feel like people are taking advantage of others.
Okay.
And that idea of just because you are at home, you're not coming to the office, then you have time. Can you imagine coronavirus did not add any hour to our 24 hours? We are still on the 24-hour clock.
7 days a week.
Yeah, 7 days a week. I mean, why are we having excessive official Zoom meetings on weekends? Why?
Talking about, I've just remembered a certain. I was hosting a show with one media house at some point, and so we went to talk to this family, and the man said his balance is 888 hours. They're 24 hours, so he has 8 hours for work, 8 hours for sleep, and then the other 8 hours is for his social interactions and anything that he needs to do.
Yeah.
And man, I left that place asking myself, so what have I been doing with my time? Because he still sleeps for at least 8 hours.
Yeah.
And he works for 8 hours. And he's a
Yeah.
billionaire.
Yeah.
Then he has 8 hours for family and philanthropy.
Oh, wow.
Do you think that right now we're in that amorphous space where we're not structured? Just because we're working from home, so we're not structured in time?
Yes, I actually think that we are having challenges in
Okay.
in time management, because previously, okay, this is pre-corona, yeah. Pre-corona time is the schedule was done for you,
Right.
you know, because you knew that you were supposed to be at the office by 8,
Yeah.
and say you will leave at 5, or if you live far from where you work, then perhaps you leave at 7 or something, just so that you don't get the traffic, you know, the evening traffic. So between, say, let's just say even from 8 to 5, yeah, let's just use the 8 to 5 or 9 to 5.
Yeah.
After which you knew that you were gonna get home. You know, make dinner if you're making dinner for your kids.
Yeah.
Help with doing assignment or homework for your kids, and then have time with your husband.
Right.
Now there's no 8 to 5.
True.
The 8 to 5 is in your house now.
It's 8 to 8.
Yeah, it's 8 to 8 or 8 to whatever.
8 to 8.
Yeah, it's 8 to 8. Yeah. So now we now don't know when to start, when to stop, when to take a break, when to play with your kids, when to engage with them, when to do with them assignments. You know, everything is just murky. Everything has just been put there like Kikuyu food. Yeah? Mashakura inside. There's waru, fish, carrots. Yeah.
Even
so-
having healthy sleep.
Good question.
I think
Good question.
COVID-19, you know, just caught us by surprise. We have had epidemics before, like H1N1, avian flu, bird flu. We have had the mask of one, the camel coronavirus and so on.
Yeah.
And we thought, this thing will never come to Kenya. So when it came, it found a lot of us, off guard. And all of a sudden we have to stay at home. And we do not know how to structure our time when we are at home for 24 hours.
Right.
So someone thinks, okay, I'm going to do binge watching of movies. You do like
we have time
and
of
then
all
I'll
series.
sleep during the day and so on. So in 2-3 weeks, you find you are so clogged and confused. And I think if this thing is going to be there for a long time, people just need to structure their time. in such a way that they know this is the time I do my chores, this is the time I hang out with the children, or I help them to study from home. This is the time I talk to my wife or my spouse. This is my me time. If I have the advantage of an extra room or a rooftop, this is the time to do, Bible study or devotion or whatever it is. So in as much as we are home, we need to structure it in such a way that we don't lose our sleep and we don't lose our minds. Because actually we can actually lose our minds.
Yeah, and sorry.
Yeah.
Somebody who spends your time during the day on radio.
Yeah.
You talk,
yeah.
man, and you can talk. This guy can talk. And then you get back home.
Yeah.
Dr. Omondi has just talked about the issue of the me time.
Yes.
Now you come back home, you've got a family that they've been waiting for you.
Sure.
But you've been talking the whole day to everybody.
Talking
you've got to
too.
come up with the content for radio.
Yes.
You stick up there for about 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah. Just for the following day's content and also to respond and
So you need to know what's happening.
Yes.
You're scheduling your music, you're doing all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So your mind, as it says, is literally clogged.
Sure.
You're coming back home, you still have your business that you need to do. Then here's your family. You've got your daughter who wants your time.
Yes.
How are you working out that, man?
Yeah, man. And that's thanks. Question, Rev. And the thing is, because I'll answer where I'm concerned, not where maybe someone else. I don't know how they structure theirs, but during the week, when that happens, and they know, because we have actually, other than our daughter Ariella, who still will not understand that you want to have a power nap and snooze and just do your thing. No, I want daddy's time with me now. Right? So in those instances that she has her afternoon nap, and that's the time I also go and have my nap and my rest.
You have to synchronize.
Yes, with her. At that time, Zamar is understanding, so he goes out and plays, right? And then, like, what happened, like today, just also to respond to what Doc said, that time with Gladys as well, my wife. We, this morning, are just from Karura.
What were you doing in Karura?
Just enjoying nature.
Okay.
Running and stuff.
When you hear Christians talk about
Karura, I know.
Yeah. They've gone to pray.
Yeah.
But you just took a walk.
Yeah, taking a walk and just enjoying ourselves and, just being playful. The two of us, just.
Okay. Talking about this element of being playful and the two. I know Dr. Lyndzie likes talking about relationships as well. And Dr. Sam, I want to hear this. Now, with this corona thing, there are people who have asked me questions concerning how their marriages are supposed to be. You want the marriage to thrive, vis-a-vis the protection against possible infection. So all these things that we bring out as precautions, do not hug, do not greet, 1.5 meters.
It's now 2.
But is that applicable in a home?
He's married. And can you tell? Of course, I was gonna do
Are we
that.
supposed to wait in the house?
That's a good concern. I think the motive of the authorities, in this case the government and just the public health advisors to the government, is to reduce as much as possible any social contact or interaction. If the government says that no getting out, we have to stay at home, I'm assuming there is nowhere that your husband is going, or your wife, or your children. So if we look at it as a family unit, when you adhere to the social distancing regulation in terms of the family unit interacting with the external, that would make us assume that so long as none of you has tested positive, I don't think there should be any problem with physical and sexual relations in the family. But there's a situation whereby probably one person stays at home or the other stays at home, but the other one stays. We have to choose our poison. Now we're going to die of corona or we'll die of hunger.
You know the way some spouses normally those cases like, so you went out and you're coming back, then they say, so you want to bring me corona?
Say something.
Yeah.
We definitely have health workers, doctors,
Yes.
medical officers
Yes.
that are married,
Right.
and not everybody is married to a health worker.
Yes.
So during this coronavirus season, I personally have friends who I know have had to quarantine themselves from their spouses
Okay.
in the same home. So perhaps if they're in a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom house, they had to move from the marital bedroom and move into the other room, just because because maybe they are in a space or they are part of the team that is the front line, what we're calling the front line health worker. You
Right.
know? So that means you're constantly exposed to the coronavirus. Of course, we have the PPEs, we have the gloves, we have the masks, but you see, I think that is where really love was tested. For me, I was tested. I really had to ask myself, how much do I love my family?
Okay.
I have gone on quarantine myself. I have faced stigmatization myself. I have been branded the coronavirus doctor.
Okay.
So there's nothing that is out there, I think, that I haven't faced myself. And I had to have that discussion with my mother. My mom is above 60. She's a senior citizen, and that means that coronavirus, she's in a risk factor.
All right.
So we had to have that discussion, like, am I really going to come to see you, or do I get another place until, this thing, we kind of know what we're going to do with this thing,
Okay.
So talking to what he's saying, yes. In terms of what the government is saying, it is protecting your family from the outside world. But if you are the frontline worker, then that would mean you'd have to take personal measures. And it is such a deep sacrifice to, because you love your family. I love my mom, so there's no way I was gonna bring coronavirus to her.
Right.
For me, I know I am young. I'm below 50. I don't have any comorbid, diseases. I'm not diabetic. I'm not hypertensive. I am female, so it is a plus. I don't have testosterone because I knew even if I get the coronavirus, I can beat it.
All right.
Can she?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think one of the things that I'm not on the front line myself because I'm in school, so I'm officially on leave. According to my employer, I'm not there.
Okay.
But I'm on standby. And one of the things I've seen my colleagues doing is just the sacrifice they've had to put in, to take care of both the patients and their families. Because we cannot assume that in as much as you have your PPE on, in as much as infection prevention and control measures have been put up in the coronavirus setup, that you are actually free of the virus. We have seen cases in Italy and Spain and in the US where people who were well protected, if we can use that statement, turned out to be positive. So many doctors, many nurses, many frontliners have actually separated themselves from their families, either taking up a hotel space, or if you have an extra property somewhere, because you can be able to cross the roadblocks and beat the curfew with the with the government pass. People have stayed away from their families for weeks, even months, because you have aging parents, maybe they are staying with you, and you have the children. So it's great sacrifice, and we should get the normalcy back. I mean,
Talking about normalcy, because I saw also a post that Dr. Lyndzie did, and this one, Justus, I'm going to ask you this. People have been clamoring for the reopening of churches. Because they feel like, man, this has taken too long. Most ministers feel that there is a subtle agenda that COVID-19 is being used to fight the church. Do you hold the same views?
I actually don't.
Okay.
And this is me speaking as a senior pastor,
All right.
all right, leading a congregation. And the reason why I'm saying that, Rev, is simply this. we all know, and I'm not going to go into quoting scripture because once we go that direction as preachers, we go into preaching mode. I don't want to go into that. But we all know scripture that says that we must obey the authorities that have been set up in the land. Isn't
All right.
it?
Yeah.
So the authorities in the land have said that no, churches are not essential services. I know President Donald Trump just said, no, churches in the U.S. are essential services, and so he's ordering the government. But let me ask my fellow pastors this, and deacons and elders and all that. Supposing we say that, okay, now, the government, we go and we go into a prayer closet, and then we clamor for it, and the government says, okay, from this Sunday, churches are back on. Right. Then it happens like it happened in California. 300 came in to a church service. At the end of it, 180 tested positive from that congregation,
Okay.
from that meeting. So are we really saying that we can't worship from home? That is what we are saying? Or are we saying that we are not the temple of the Holy Spirit and God therefore cannot hear me well and I cannot worship well minus the acoustics of a band setup and the lighting and all this praise and worship team? I cannot do it? I don't think so.
Dr. Lindsay, you raised a few issues. That you were talking about several things that we would need to do. If you would just highlight that again.
I was doing a perspective,
Right.
feedback or comment on how life would look like if we actually, if we were actually given the money to open the church.
Right.
And first of all, I'd like to say that I think the virtual movement, not every church was doing this virtual online
Right.
on Sundays.
Yeah.
This is growth.
Yes,
This
it
is growth.
Yes, it is.
This is growth because
True.
somebody like me, I'm almost always at work on Sunday. And so the only way I can access church is through online.
Right.
I used to just watch TDJX because now where are these Kenyan churches? Yeah? But now I can go to New Bath, I can go to any church right now in Kenya. You just
Right.
have to either on your you either log it in on their Facebook page
Right.
or on their YouTube if they have a YouTube channel,
Right.
and you watch. Now church doesn't have to feel so far. Yeah,
Right.
that's number one. But number two, now I'd want to say, if say we open up the churches,
Right.
I was speculating, I was wondering, so how do we do this? Are we, for a church that maybe has over 1,000 members,
Right.
do they come to church by appointment? Like, do you use a register to say, today I'm coming to church, next Sunday this other guy has booked, or what? Okay, how do we actually do this social distancing? That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, we would have to completely do away with the offering basket. Yeah, because of the whole contamination thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Number three, we would have to have a lot of those thermometers, infrared thermometers, that will check you at the gate, at the entrance.
Yes.
The security guards that check your handbag or search you, I don't know how that will happen. I think now we'd have to get to the place where like the airport where you just pass through and then it scans you or something. Do
Right.
we have the funding for that? Does the church have the funding so that you just walk through it and then it scans you if you have any metallic or anything? We would also need hand sanitizers everywhere, like every 1 to 2 meters there's a hand sanitizer on your left and on your right.
Right.
We would have to buy, could you please pass me this mic, please, Percy?
Okay.
Do you see this cover? What is this called? What is this called?
It's a muzzle.
Yeah?
It's a
The
muzzle.
muzzle?
Right.
We would have to buy like 55 of them. Because once I use it, I'm definitely pouring some saliva on it. I cannot give the next person to
Right.
use.
Right.
So you remove the muzzle, you sanitize the shaft of the microphone with every user. Are we ready to do that as a church? Do you have the funds? Kanisani, watu wa kanisa.
I
You've
think
not
also,
spoken about the masks in the.
I've not
Oh,
even started,
yes,
you know,
yes.
because then,
Yes.
yeah, sure.
I think Rev, we need to be very sober and balanced.
And you speak as a doctor, come preacher.
Yes.
Yes.
I am the intersection between miracles and medicine.
I love that.
I like that. I like that.
And I believe in miracles. I have
Right.
seen miracles. I have prayed for people and God has healed them.
True.
And to God be praised for that.
Amen. Amen.
But I've also seen people getting well just because of medicine. And one of the things I keep saying, one of the biggest revelations that God has given to man is medical science.
Alright.
Because without getting into preaching, you know, Scripture tells us that that by Him were all things that were made, whether things that are visible or invisible,
True.
with the powers of principalities,
Yes.
all things were made by
Yes,
Him
by
and for
Him
Him.
and for Him. Right.
So if we discover today an antivirus, for example, or a vaccine that
Yeah.
can be able to treat a coronavirus, it's not something that man has made up. It is something that was there, and with the abilities and faculties that God has given to man,
Alright.
they have been able to discover it.
Okay.
So God can heal you through medicine, and God can heal you through miracles.
Alright,
It is still
alright.
God that does that.
Right.
Another thing that I have that has amused me is pastors are asking to be allowed to the coronavirus centers to pray for the sick, and I'm like, we have so many nurses and doctors in those wards
Who are born again.
that are doing the medicine but are also doing the miracle.
Yeah.
All right.
So they are praying for the patients. I know several people. I know people that got born again during their stay in the coronavirus isolation centers.
Yeah.
We need to be sober and we need to be very, very balanced.
All right.
I don't think that it is wisdom to ask churches to reopen for now. Why? Because, and I'm gonna try to make sense out of it, Coach. Traditionally,
Right.
church attendance in terms of congregation is once a week. The other 5 or 6 days, those are economic days. They're
All
days
right.
of working.
Right.
And I think for a government that is secular, the priority of any government is the well-being of the people. The government considers the economy running,
All right.
and more important, you know, I cannot be, if I'm working in a factory,
Right.
I cannot earn a salary while working at home.
Right.
I need to go to industrial area to
yes,
work,
with the machines, yes.
but I can worship from home.
Okay.
I can pray from home. I know that is the element of congregational worship,
Right, yeah.
right.
but because of the current circumstances, it is not good to put God into temptation. I mean, I can't cross Mombasa Road and say, oh yeah, he's gonna command his angels to take me in their arms so that I don't dash my
bone is
foot against the stone. And here comes the trailer and I'm like, oh, God save me.
You know, my biggest around it
Yes.
is all these measures that Dr. Lyndzie is talking about
Yes.
that eliminate the sense of church as we know it. You finish the service, you cannot really bond.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you've
No
got to keep the
fellowship.
social distancing, everybody in a mask, you can't hug, and this is what forms the community.
The fellowship in the church.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, with a church of 2,000 people or 3,000
Just
people,
hold it up.
what are you going to do?
Yeah, Parklands Baptist Church. That's my church. We are 10,000 on a usual regular day. When we are having this big, what do you call it, revival,
Yeah.
we go up to 15, 16, 17,000.
Yeah.
So I was asking one of the pastors, you know, you guys, do you have a register? Like, so that you tell me you're slotted for the 22nd of July at this time to attend church. I mean, it's impossible. But again, I want to pose a question and a challenge to both the pastors and the congregants. What is your real reason as to why
Yes,
you want to
the
open the church?
Absolutely.
You know,
It's true.
What's the
really?
motive?
What's the motive?
Man, we want to worship.
Oh, give me a break, man.
Why
Just to pick up from what she's saying, I think the motive of why we want churches to open is what matters. Because you have said, if churches are to be open today, and I'm so sure even, you know, the president of the US of A has actually asked the governors to allow the churches to open. It's not just opening and then the services resume as
As
normal.
they were.
There are guidelines
Right.
on how to social distance and how to wear a mask and sharing of equipment and so on. And that alone is going to remove the element of fellowship when we come to church.
Right.
Sure.
Because I think we come to church to worship, but again, we also come to fellowship. We can't fellowship 3 meters away.
3
I went to a
meters, yeah, I mean,
restaurant with 2 of my pastor friends, and one was told to sit on that corner,
Oh, yeah.
and the other on that corner, and
True.
me on that corner, and we wanted to fellowship, and we said, well, I mean,
You
it can't
do
work.
that. It can't work.
So the motive matters. If the motive is to worship God, we can do it from home
Okay. All right.
until the situation is better. The time for fellowship will come. We shall have comeback services, and we shall really push the devil in his place. Oh yeah.
Allow me to
Yes,
say
yes.
something. Whichever church that you are following online, yeah, please remember to give your tithe and your offering.
I wish I had an offering. I would give you an
have-
offering.
Oh, yeah.
I feel I have the authority to say that because I'm not a pastor, so you can take me nowhere. Yeah, yeah. So
You're not biased.
yeah, I'm not biased. Yeah, so I'm not a pastor. I've not gone to theology school. I've not gone to any school of ministry. But please, I mean, it is an instruction. You know it. Malachi 3:10. The pastors are here. They can quote verses. They can assist me. Yeah. Give your tithes and your offering. I'm sure with every online church, they are actually the numbers are literally running on the screen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, good. Thank you. Bring all the tithe. I like that word, all. Yeah. Actually, my pastor says it's not some.
Yeah, it's
it's
all.
not few.
It's everything.
It's not kidogo. It's
All.
all.
Yeah.
The tithes, the whole 10th of your income into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house, and prove me now by it says the Lord of hosts, if I will not open the windows of heaven for you and pour out a blessing. So there's really, I think that it's just a sense of community that you're talking about,
Yes.
but everything else is going on.
Right.
We are starting the service with praise and worship. You can stand in your house, dance, sing, do whatever. After that, I think the preacher or the pastor comes on, gives the sermon. After that, there's an M-Pesa number there. Please, can we finish the service nicely, yeah? The way we start with the opening prayer, after you are worshiping, after you listen to your pastor, finish with the offering, yeah? Thanks.
And maybe to the pastors, I just don't know. I don't want to moderate the show, but just a question for you. I'm just wondering, as pastors, and maybe let me direct this to Pastor Justus.
Yes, yes.
What happens in the case of you have staff
Yeah.
that people who are on payroll basically,
Sure. Yeah.
and they depend on the gifts and donations that have been made to the church
Yeah.
for them to do their life. What happens when we are unable to do that? Because the reason I'm asking that is because I'm so sure the tithes and offerings have gone down.
Yeah.
Because people are used to, I'm going to church to give. What happens in such a case? Or probably if you can give your example, do you let your staff go away? Do you I don't know.
Let me
How do you
help
do
you.
it?
Let me
Oh,
help
that's very
Mr.
good.
Justus.
Yeah.
So that I'll give a scenario of a ministry that I was told about. They had to send, and it's a large ministry
Yeah.
within the city, and they had to send right from their pastors on leave.
Yeah. And paid.
So you see all these things, there's the ripple effect. They had to send all their pastors on leave. They told them that you'll only be coming to work on need basis.
Yeah.
So when we need you, then you come.
Yeah.
That's the aspect that I think as well, that those who were able to fulfill their obligations to their churches
Yeah.
need to understand.
They need to.
There are people who may not, because they have gone through a season that does not allow them to do that as they would wish to do before. But there are people who are still, in a sense of, they're able to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
And they should, because they're also workers in those churches.
Yeah, true.
So when you withhold your tithe, when you withhold your giving, and you say, in any case, I'm not going to church,
Yeah.
there's somebody else who's losing a job.
True.
So that's where the Malachi 3:10 that you talk about
True.
comes in, that when there is food in the storehouse,
Yes.
the people
No one
who
will lack.
work around the house, eat from that storehouse.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, so, and one of the things that Nehemiah did, I'm teaching right now on the Rebuilders.
Yes.
Through Nehemiah, the whole month of May, we're doing the series. One of the things that he did in Nehemiah 13 was when he got back, then he wanted to find out why is the house of God forsaken.
Yeah.
And he realized Judah wasn't paying tithe. So the singers had left, the Levites had left, everybody had gone to do their own work.
Yeah.
And he agreed with Judah that you're all bringing the tithe,
Yes.
so that we can take care
True.
of the
Of
workers, so
yes.
that the sanctuary of God is not left unattended. Yeah, so there's that aspect. Again, it's people's levels of responsibility and maturity as well. But I want us to wind up, because we've taken all this while, my good God. Dennis Njau, good to see you, my brother, good to see you. Martin Oluoch, Frida Kibathi, Irene Terrer, who else is here? Shiro Edjia, Paul Ruben Kachala, good to see you, all the way from Malawi. An amazing psalmist, that one is. Came in here last year, and God just used him greatly. Apostle Evans Ababu, good to see you as well. Joseph Murunga Mukaminyaga, who else is here? Blessed Violet Wekesa, Reynard Atela. Reynard, your question was already answered, because he asked about the element of the healing of the sick.
Yes.
But the intersection.
Doctor.
The intersection
Of miracles and medicine.
Reminds me of Dr. Luke.
yeah. So Apostle Silvano Itali as well, Reverend Aaron Bowie, Maldini Paul, Moses Okoth. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for just tuning in. You know, Johnny Wiper, who else is here? Caroline Gashoki Kagiri, Jonathan Charles, Stephen Musioka, the Apostle. Good to see you as well. My former classmate, all the way from primary school, Grace Kunga. Of course, Bishop Obed Wanjala was saying rich content and great stuff, and we do appreciate that as well. Reverend Wycliffe Mudaki as well. So, Dr. Lindsay, today you were preaching to the preachers. You're speaking to all this.
True.
Pastor Chilson joined in as well.
Amen.
Dixon Omoro joined in as well. Good to see each and every one of you. Jackie Roberts, and then Mukami Nyaga. Okay, I already spoke about Mukami Nyaga. Just in closing, you know, we started with the element of, and my question was, are we healthier now? So just in closing, are we healthier? And if not, or if we are, what can we do to strengthen that? Spirit, soul, body. I'll start from the farthest.
I think for the sake of the health of our bodies, we need to listen to the experts.
Okay.
The government is well advised. And for us to remain healthy in this...
Are you talking about the government of Kenya or Tanzania?
The government of Kenya.
Yeah, you have to clarify.
I don't want to get into the politics, but
Okay.
Tanzania is a different thing. Probably the government is not listening to the experts, and if you don't agree with what the president says, then you may end up in trouble. But I think our government is moderate and listens, so we need to listen to the government on the matters of hand sanitization and social distancing, and just ensuring that you just do what the DG and the CS is telling you, because they have your best interests at heart as far as health is concerned.
Okay.
In terms of spiritual health, what a great opportunity, you know, just to read through the scriptures. You can do it through the Bible. You can take time alone to, you know, to just be on your own and internalize and look at things and see what will you do after this difficult time is over. And in terms of you know, of your soul and just psychology, you know, reach out.
Okay.
Call people, call your pastor if he can pick his phone. Call your friends.
I assure you, you send your tithe, he'll pick your call.
for those who want their pastor to pick the calls, you have the secret there. So I think we can become healthier. There is
All right.
nothing to worry about. Just listen to the doctors and the experts. This season is seasonal.
Okay.
It will
It will
pass.
pass.
Take advantage of, benefit from the crisis. Look for something.
Okay.
Read a book, update your blog or whatever it is, create some content for children or for dating people and be part of the solution.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Dr. Lindsay.
Yeah, actually, I think he said everything because, man is body, soul, and spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for the body, I particularly want to address poor eating habits. Surely Kenyans. The relationship between you and your fridge. You guys are in an abusive relationship. The fridge is supposed to at least stay closed for a few hours. Surely there's a problem. So, I mean, you please try and time yourself. You can't be eating all the time. Surely, how do you eat for 24 hours? How?
The body needs time to metabolize.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Everybody has become a chef, a baker, a cook. The things on social media. It's so hilarious. But anyway, I want to commend you for learning new recipes, but I also now want to challenge you to now tone it down, yeah? You can at most just eat 4 meals a day, imagine. In the morning, at most, yeah? In the morning, around maybe 11, then lunch hour, and then dinner, Hey, you guys are eating, yeah? Diabetes, you will know what diabetes is. You chezeni too. Anyway, so that is for the body. So please have self-discipline. You can't just eat anything. I mean, nutrition doesn't stop just because you're at home, Choose healthier foods, yeah? Do more vegetables, do more fruits, take lots of water, If you're even I wanted to say if you're female, but I want to say everybody. Do good skincare. This is an opportune moment. You don't have to go outside, so you don't have to keep on applying your sunscreen. So you can do the whole avocado mask or whatever else. It's all skincare. And you can do that for both men and women.
If you don't have a beard.
If you don't, if you don't have that. And then let's go to the soul. So for the soul, you have the mind, the soul, and emotions.
Right.
Take this time to read books
That's
and harness emotional intelligence.
Right.
I have noticed that people are just raging on social media, and you're covering yourself behind a keyboard or behind your thumb to write whatever you feel like. I am sorry. This is not the moment. Me, I'm not a pastor. So me, I'm telling you, Pastor Chris cannot say this because perhaps he needs to use a verse. Me, I'll say it as it is. Yeah? And there's no way you're going to take me. Can you imagine? So I don't have the pastor title. Because I feel that pastors want to say something, but because of the title pastor, we have put them in that box, and we don't give them the allowance and the permission to say things as they are. I will say it on their behalf. I am the advocate. So, what was I saying? This is how women
The ranting.
lose
We're talking about
track.
the ranting.
Oh, we were talking about the ranting, yes. So take time to buy books. I'm sure people out there have written books. Everybody out there is writing a good book. Take time to actually harness your emotional intelligence. If it's about your soul and your psychology, when is the last time you actually called somebody and told them, okay, I need to talk.
Right.
I need to talk. I feel it's too much. I need to talk. I also want to challenge you. Call your pastors. Honestly, these people are human beings. They have needs like you. Call them and tell them, hi, Pasi, how are you doing? I called to ask how you are doing.
Right.
It's not all the time, Pastor, pray for me, pray for me. It's too much. Pray for
That's true.
yourself.
Yeah,
Pray for yourself. Even God can hear you. So we are tired. We are tired.
Then send your tithe.
And then send your tithe.
Let's sit outside.
So when me, I will say the truth, yeah? And then the last one is the spirit. Of course, Dr. here said that, this is an opportune time to do your Bible study, do Bible study as a family.
Right.
Teach your kids the Bible verses. teach your kids, this is an amazing, amazing time.
Alright.
We don't know the next time, we don't know what the future holds or how it's going to look like.
Yeah.
But this is the best time to train your child in the way they should go.
Absolutely.
And when they are old, they will not
Depart from
depart from it.
True.
Yeah, so teach your kids. Have time, have intercession with your husband, with your wife. Yeah, with the family setup. So do a lot of that in terms of spiritual growth.
Alright.
And I think we will be a healthier nation.
Okay.
So I always say healthy mind, healthy body, healthy spirit makes a healthy you.
All right. There's something I was going to ask you, but I'll not bring it up
Please
right
do.
now.
You can ask. I will
I need to bring in Justus.
Yeah.
But I'll need to bring you guys back for the element of faith and science
wow.
as well. I've
That'd be
talked about
nice.
that before.
Yeah.
Because of something that one time he was mentioning and saying, I don't know why pastors or when people are giving testimonies, it's about when people are giving testimonies,
Yes.
they demonize the doctor. We'll talk about that another day. It's not like
I have an answer for that. 2 sentences. Next time.
we'll do that next time as well. But just to your closing thoughts.
Yes, sir. Dr. Sam and Lyndzie have actually broken it down really nicely. But I'll just go straight into physical. Physical because part of the business that I'm also involved in as a hustle is health and wellness. And so I love fitness and exercise. So I know it is not everyone's bowl of soup, yeah, but you can do something. You can do, especially right now with COVID, you can do something. I mean, even if you're seated, you can do stretches. I mean, just simply stretch your leg forward, bring it back, hang it there, stretch it out, count to 10, twist your neck that way, this way. I mean, do something, all right? But for those of us who love exercise and fitness, exercise, sweat, discipline yourself. Take care of this temple. Take care of your body, absolutely. There's something, and maybe the doctors, they can, and if we had maybe a nutritionist who can tell us that if you do not make food your medicine right now, medicine will be your food in the future. That's just basically what it is. All right, and so now emotional. Just go to emotional, doctor.
This is the case of walking with the wise makes you wise. So now you've become medical. Now you're a doctor.
An impartation.
I tell you, it is. I tell you, it's vice versa. Yeah. So, but going into now the emotional, and I love the way both of them talked about emotional intelligence, right? Now, the thing about our emotion is, and the human mind, the way it works is, it's only 2 things. It either attracts or repels.
All right.
Right?
Right.
Only 2 things with the human mind.
Right.
That's it. All the psychologies will tell you and all that. It is only 2 things.
Right.
What you accept and what you repel.
All right. All right.
So accept positivity, receive positivity.
All right. All right.
And you can do that even if you're in a toxic environment. That's what people don't understand. The power of your mind.
Right.
The power of your mind. So
Right.
make use of that, the power of your mind. You may be in a toxic even relationship. I don't know. I'm talking to you, a husband, a wife. You're watching right now. Right? Other than praying for your spouse and for that maybe erratic child, also take care of your own emotion, of your own mind.
Right.
Yes?
Right.
It is very important for you to stay sane, by the way, especially this time. Right? And then now, finally, finishing with the spiritual. I don't know, Revelation chapter 6. Revelation chapter 6 and verse 7. Revelation talks about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, right? And verse 7 there talks about the pale horseman, who has also death and Hades coming with him. And with him was pestilence, disease, and all that. What could it be? I don't know. I am not God. I don't know. I'm not a prophet. I also won't claim that. I'm not even a seer. I'm just a pastor.
Right.
But could it be that God has released coronavirus to try and tell us something? Could it be? All of us are running around. Even some of us pastors, we're running around. We are
I'm going
looking
to
at...
use the word allow instead of release.
Oh, allow. Yes, good. See now? Yeah, there we go. Coach,
I'm gonna-
allow.
We don't want trouble.
Yeah, we don't want trouble. Yeah, allow. It's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Could it be that he allowed? Because we don't know. That's
Right.
the truth of the matter. But the thing is, when we are done with this dark cloud, how are you going to come out on the other side of the storm?
All right. That's the big question, right?
Yeah?
When we are done with the dark, how are you going to come on the other side of the story? It's been a blessing just having each and every one of you. If, of course, we have extended our time. Just before we came on, the panelists, we were having some time in the office. At some point, I'd walked out, walking back inside, there was this conversation, and I was saying to my wife, I wish that was the show itself, because very conversational, and I must appreciate each and every one of you. I mean, it's been a joy. It's been such a great blessing, you know, the connection, the chemistry, and of course, the reason we do this is so that you're empowered, you're enlightened, you're educated. You may have different views, but you see, part of that growth process is when you can listen to somebody who has a different view and then weigh it against their perspective as well and see whether there is something that they are saying that you need to listen to. We can't always just be saying this is my view and there's no other view. So if we're going to grow, we've got to listen to various people. And so on this particular show, I am determined to bring you various diverse voices and opinions that are going to help us be built up, be shaped up, and come out on the other side as better people. Thank you so much, Dr. Samuel Omondi Ojino, Dr. Lyndzie Wanjiku. I know that there's going to be quite a number of people who want to know who is Dr. Lyndzie. the only, my goodness, she's just, yes, we're going to do that very quickly. And then, of course, Justus Owaka, a pastor, media personality, first hosted me in Hope FM those days, and you know, I had a word for Dr. Lyndzie this morning, and we met today here for the first time physically, but I had a word for her today, and I say that to her, something concerning media. And then she said, well, I need to pray for me. And I wanted to tell her that this gentleman here became a media personality through a prophetic word as well. So I just wanted, so that it's not those cooked up stuff to get people happy.
No.
It's not psychological prophecy so that you win people's favor.
No.
But I felt that very strongly, and that's going to be on you. Well, you've been told that you can pay your tithes, and so if you want to do that, the pay bill is on the screen. The pay bill 655-125. It's on the screen. If you want to, you know, give in your offering, your gifts, your support directly on M-Pesa or via Wave, World Remit, the number is +254 721 556 159. So the pay bill 655-125. And if you want to do that directly on M-Pesa, it's 721-556-159 via Wave or World Remit +254 721 556 159. Thank you so much for keeping us company, for your questions, for your time. Tomorrow is Sunday. We've got 3 services right here. 8:30 as well, first service. 10:30. I'm continuing with the teaching on rebuilders, and then at 3 p.m. I'll be trying to finish up on the teaching on a sound mind as well. So we have 3 services tomorrow. Every Monday to Friday, 6 to 7 a.m. East African time, we've got the morning mist. Monday afternoon, 3 p.m., we talk money matters on Commonwealth. Tuesday, victory service. Wednesday, winds of worship. And Thursday, School of Faith, all of them coming at 3 p.m. Then every Friday, 8 p.m., we've got Zoom sessions with young people. The Quiver started yesterday, and we're growing into it. We'll see you again next Saturday for the Saturday starter. God bless you, keep you, watch over you, cause his face to shine upon you, and give you peace.
He's been so good to you. Raise those hands unashamedly. Bring a song for everything. bring you down for who you were. We just came to give you praise. We brought this song. Let everything that has breath praise the Lord. So we came with a song to give you praise. There is nothing you cannot do. You have power over everything. None compares to who you were. All blessing and glory, wisdom and power, honor and strength belong to you.
There is nothing you cannot do.
You have power,
You have power over everything.
none compares.